Instagram excluded. We are live. This is Miss Joanna Lynn Steffel, one of my
Hello,
sacred
hello.
sisters. Welcome, welcome. And I am Dewi Miley Lim. If you don't know who I am, we are co-creating an experience this week that has been the culmination of a year in the making called Rebel Heart Convergence. And it's been such a transformational journey from start to finish. Joanna is one of our council guides. And we are still in the process of the replay week where on demand you can access Joanna's talk as well as 10 other talks, mine included. These women identify as women on the front lines of the global awakening. We are all embodying our unique medicine in different ways at various stages of bringing that out into the world. Some of us are quite seasoned in this work, and also some of us are, we're all in our evolutionary process. And the cool thing about these conversations that we've been having is that they're very kind of leading edge, and that we all are on the precipice of birthing in something new, a new way of being, a way focused more in unity consciousness, letting go and dissolving this illusion of scarcity and separation, and moving us more into a place of being that where we all can thrive, where it's safe to shine. And so Joanna and I wanted to come on today to talk a little bit about, just Joanna, I would love to get your take of where things are at. How are you feeling with all of that's been unfolding with this experience? And then we're also going to share, leading up into next week, 12/12, we have a experience, but I know you have some wisdom about the 12/12 date. So whatever you want to share so far to get us started, introduce yourself too.
All right. So I am Joanna Lynn Steffel. I am the owner and community leader of Beautifully Chaotic Mystics. And Mystics is just really a community, all inclusive, really wanting to make the world be a beautiful place and learning from our wisdom teachers from the past, and really looking at a wide array of ways and traditions, and really using our own discernment of what is for us, and really spending time in community, sharing of our wisdom and sharing of our journey and our story. So that's a little bit about me. You can I'll put a little plug for watching my talk with our talk. It's about me and my journey of becoming a published author, and what that all meant, and what all kind of fierce awakenings that had taken place during that. So I was messaging Dewi last night, and seeing the weavings, and really, like, I just knew what I was going to talk about, but I was really excited to hear what everybody else was, and it, like, I had seen the titles and had known what some of my sisters were going to be speaking into, but I've just been really blown away as a participant of, like, the vulnerability and the, like, authenticity of, like, these shares. I've been journeying with some of these sisters throughout Davy's Container and Rebel Heart Creatrix for a year, and I was, like, just blown away of, like, even the next layer to come forward, and just the courage to really speak into those stories, of where maybe we have felt off course, because we talked a little bit about, like, on course, off course during the talk that we had.
We all are on these journeys. I'm framing this in the context of we are each on our own heroine's journey, and it's not a linear experience all the time, especially for us that are seeing kind of this past, present, future into the here and now interplay between the ages that we're evolving through, the shift in the timelines. There's all kinds of things that play energetically, and that's something you talk about in your presentation, Joanna, in our conversation is the cycles. You know, there's the meta kind of overarching cosmic cycles, and then there's our own internal cycles. And for, you know, women who bleed, there's that cycle. You know, there's all kinds of cycles that are, you know, we can find ourselves in. And so, yeah, do you want to say anything about that, and just, you know, what you see as the opportunity where we find ourselves right now?
Yeah, I feel like as I, hear you like cycles upon cycles on,
Yeah.
and I'm just seeing like the tapestry. We talked a lot about tapestry, the tapestry of like just beautiful sacred geometry coming forward. And like one of the things that brought Davey and I together was a painting retreat that we were doing together. And I had seen like the patterns that were coming and merging. And for me, it was like, oh, are you painting Metatron? Like, and I do a lot of work with the angels, and I was like, there's something there. I need to talk to her. And I had just had seen the painting, watched our interview that you had in the background, and I just remember this like the heart shape on that forefront, and I really think that that's something that I witnessed in you and in the container, that we've been in, and even in this summit of like love is like the forefront of everything, and returning to the heart space.
Yes. Yeah, say a little bit more about the returning to the heart space. Like, what does that afford you, or, you know, where, how are you using this in your own everydayness?
Yeah, I feel like, you know, in the convergent call that we had the other day, we were talking about safety, right? And this piece of like knowing and understanding that there's another way, and then we may not see it out here, but if we can see it in here, with the heart's eye, with the mind's eye, and then make those small simple steps towards that vision. And I think that that's a real gift of yours, Davey, is to just help in that of the emerging of like through the birth canal of what is to come forward. And so
Yes.
I think that we both have, along this journey, is like returning to that heart space, and reevaluating, reassessing, you know, and having those different data points that can come from, from our brain, or from our feelings, but realizing that, like I had spoken in the talk, that like if it's our heart's desire, it will come. It's just a matter of how it comes.
Yeah, yeah, there's these dreams and insights or visions, you know, you can call them a lot of different things, but those reoccurring kind of inner nudges and knowings of, you know, whatever it is for that, for each of us, you know. And there's something to that, and it does require a courageous heart to follow that. I mean, the stories of awakening that have been shared through this event have been just so fascinating, because there's like, it's not like we ever arrive at like, oh, I'm, you know, I'm awakened, and you know, we all have our own because I, you know, for all of us who are on a part of this, we are we value being on a growth path, and so that place, and one of the themes as well of the summit is sovereignty. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, that growth path, to me, in order for us to really truly be on a growth path, we also are on a sovereignty path, and that means we are taking responsibility for our own inner experiences, for our projections, for the ways that we might still be operating out of shadow or our blind spots. And that's even come up for me during this experience as well, you know, and to really
Right.
be able to be in ourselves. Like, my wish for all of us, everyone listening and everyone who's participating in this, and for even me as a reminder, is that even when I look at those parts of myself that I don't necessarily prefer, like if I'm coming from a habitual response or a reactive place or a place of fear, that I can observe that neutrally once I'm like through that space of like contraction, and love myself back to wholeness, and be compassionate with myself. And I really feel like that template needs to be what we all do, right, Joanna, in order for us to have a more loving and flourishing world. We have to have that love and flourishing energy within ourselves. And so that is something that I'm committed to doing. And you've been great because you have some insights about, astrology and the cosmic kind of, or the way the cosmos interplays, where you've been able to share some things with me over the years of knowing me, and we all have our own soul lab that we're evolving through, right? How do you see that? Like, what's your worldview about evolution, and the, like, what are we doing here on the planet according to Joanna? Like, why are we here?
But why are we? That's like the biggest question ever, dude. Let me take it.
Yeah, I know you got something for us.
I feel like we're on a journey of becoming. We're on a journey to returning home, and a remembrance journey. And I feel like it may, sometimes it's a moment by moment. Like we lose ourselves, we lose our purpose, we lose what we came here to do, right? That's one of the things, like Dewi is big in saying, like, we came here for this, right? Whatever this is. Right. And then I think for all of us, this is something different, and that's the uniqueness and the beauty of it. And as we move into that Aquarian age of like really embodying our own uniqueness and then being able to be in community with them, where I feel like that's like the exalted really beauty of what the Aquarian age is going to bring us. And I think that's gonna feel like a big sigh of relief, like, this time of martyrdom and suffering. I'm not saying that we won't have any suffering, but it will not be like as dense as, just like in that, we're leaving the Piscean age, we're leaving that emotional watery realm into a light and airy space and time. And I'm excited for it. I was listening beforehand to the Pure Moods album. This was like little itty bitty
Pure Moods.
Okay. Yeah, it was like this thing that came out in like when I was like 9.
Okay.
And it just was these different songs. Yeah, I'm such a like a little like itty bitty 90s. It was like on TV all the time. It was like all this like just really calming music and really inspirational music. And in a way it was like, okay, like I'm sure I probably almost broke the CD. I listened to it so much. It was like one of my first albums that I ever had. And it was like, I could see this out here in the world, like we were kind of talking about, like where conflict was happening and where like inner fighting was happening and why do we have to have war and all this. And then I could turn back in with that music, with that, sound, and say, okay, this is my, like one day we're going to all really be feeling like this. It's just a matter of time and a matter of connecting with the right people. And this is itty bitty wisdom sage little JoJo.
That's so cool that you brought that up. That's so cool. And that it happened through music. And I know that music is a big, the soundtrack. You have a soundtrack to your life, that's for sure. And there's like moods and music that kind of fits the feeling tone of any moment. So you've shared some music with me over the years, and we follow a lot of the same artists. And you had an opportunity through our experience this past year to create your own track, and that is your free gift
Yeah.
as part of this convergence. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, it's the Cosmic Mama and the Sacred Pause. And, Debbie and I talked quite a bit about like the interweaving of, one creative expression begetting another, and that kind of patterning cycle and like this ever evolving of me, the pieces of me that came through the painting, then the channeled message work, then, using it as spoken word, and then finally adding some audio scape to it, and then they went to another layer of creating a collage that went with it, so this audio visual scape. I love it. It's something it's not done. Something more is going to come with it.
Well, it's a very it's kind of got this like uh it's experiential for sure. You want to listen to it with earphones on and
Yeah.
or earbuds and have that kind of multi-sensory. It is a very multi-dimensional expression, and I love that you just dove right into it and created this soundscape that is yeah, like part of your spoken word um recitation of your words. It's very poetic, comes through, and it's just a really cool um project that was part of our experience together this past year. And creativity is a very large part of your life and my
Yep.
life, and the way that we process our own experiences, that we support others to process theirs. And then we are going to have, as part of the paid upgrade for the convergence, if you'd like to be a part of it's a fundraiser, as well as to support the production costs for this event. And we're raising funds for women in Lahaina who have been displaced by the fires and lost their businesses and everything. And then on Tuesday, which is 12/12, which I know you have some wisdom to share about 12/12, we will be doing a New Earth Visioning play shop, which is a 2 hour um, play kind of creative play date with you and your visionary self to really start to envision through visual form what that dream within you, that you feel like if you could express this fully in your lifetime, like you would be fully in your divine dharma. Like that's kind of the energy, or the energy we were wanting to step into. And then through image and collage and intuitive kind of a journey, we will create a piece together that expresses that. And then you can put it on your altar or have it on your wall. And then you're there, we're already in the field together. Like we're talking about how we're in the field together. And then it's like, okay, here's the visual. Just like you created that soundtrack, this becomes like
Yeah.
the next kind of layer and piece of your experience. And so, yeah, anything you want to share about that date, or anything of what I just shared?
Yeah. So one of the things, like I had mentioned, that like angels brought us together. And when we have these repetition numbers, they can quite often be called angel numbers, that they are messages from the angels. And one of the like most common angel numbers that people know is 1111. And like that whole make a wish at 1111. And there's really something in that energy with the number one being yes. So I say from the energy from 11/1 to January 11th is this energy of the new year, the new wish to be birthed. And what this mark on 12/12 for me is okay, we're going to come into full alignment. We kind of do some prep work up until we get to 12/12, and then we start kind of like getting to the nitty gritty. And so I found this beautiful article that talks about, according to the Merkaba mysticism, 12/12 is a code portal that when you enter in resonance with it, it activates your Merkabic field, which is this um, our light spirit body. That's what Merkaba means. And it's this energetic field that really helps support us in tapping into higher consciousness, really gives us protection and helping us feel safe and secure. So when this happens, you are in alignment with your human heart, connects with the unity consciousness. So that's what we've been talking about on this whole talk here. And for me, like, we all go through these portals, whether we go through them consciously and actually use the energies or not, we're all being affected by these. So I feel like in my whole like Virgo practicality, like let's work with the energies instead of having them work against us or have, some cosmic smack in the face type thing.
Right. Yeah, yeah. That's really how I have utilized any of the kind of star mapping, lunar, from different traditions too, from the Chinese solar calendar, from different astrology. It's like, it's, and I've even looked at it retroactively too, where I've been like, oh gosh, that was a rough day. Like, and then I look, 2 weeks later and saw like what was going on with the planets that day. I'm like, oh, okay. Like it was interesting. So it's fun to be able to like, for me, it's fun to be able to um, just be aware, to know we're not bound by these things, that we do have free will. And, some people don't even buy into these systems at all, which is fine. But I have found for um, my personal path that it can help me to focus and streamline my energy. And
I
so
agree.
I use it in that way to kind of empower, to give me some structure, because I can be very, as you know, Joanna, I can be very, kind of diffused, or like have a Gemini sun sign. So I'm
Yeah.
very, and then Aquarius rising. So I'm very
A
air.
lot of air in your chart, Mama.
Yeah, I have a lot of Taurian things too, which I
Yeah.
think helps ground me.
Yeah.
So this, you know, tendency, we all have our tendencies, and there's even other traditions and bodies of work with Chinese medicine and Ayurveda that can all inform us. Human design. I mean, there's so many modalities and ancient systems, or even more modern systems, that can really assist us to get a better sense of some of the pre-existing tendencies we have. And then why not, if there's a another overlay that we can source some information from to support us and kind of make more sense, and use the energies, like you said, in our favor. And then, something perhaps like a Mercury retrograde, which is coming up too, like that, for most people who don't have it natally in their chart, we can really use this as a time, any of the retrogrades, really to reflect and to revisit and to renegotiate, so why not, yeah, like use, whether it's those phases or stages, but we all have like these cycles present for us.
Yeah.
So why not use them in our favor, right? Like you said, Joanna,
And
so how have they been supportive for you, or what did you want to say?
oh, well, and I think that, it's a very important, like you said, that there's like, there's been times and spaces where like certain cycles is where I apply my focus, and then I pull out and focus, on something else. And so like there's been times when I've been really like, I always am like aware when we're passing through a gateway, whenever we have those angel numbers happen. Um, and then also knowing that like that if I want to choose into doing something in the energy, if not, there's still something that's happening for me in that. And that's kind of how I do my magic. I very much practical magic is like, what's really going on, and that's that piece of like, here's the cycles that are happening out here and happening to the collective, but also what's happening in here in these cycles. Sometimes they're counterintuitive of what's going on, and so I think for me, especially with astrology, it's like, well, take it back to the chart. Like everybody may be going through whatever, but take it back to my chart because how it's activating me may be way different. This may not be a typical, X, Y, and Z season because it's hitting this in a different way
Mhm.
than it's ever done before.
I
And I love that somebody said that their birthday's 12.
know, who is that? Facebook user, if you're still here. Um, so cool to know that. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday. So
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I'm just now seeing that we have a chat, the ability to bring chat in. So that's pretty cool. This is the Restream technology.
I saw that
Um,
Joanna was joining us for a little bit.
Yay. Yeah, Christiana was here too. She's another one of our council guides. So, Joanna, anything else you would like to share as we wrap up? Any last pearls of wisdom, or yeah, anything you would like to share? Floor is yours.
I drew a card before coming forward, and I think that this is, something that happens quite often at this like ending of one cycle, beginning of another. I always feel like December is a sacred pause kind of month. It's like you're finalizing whatever was the end of whatever 2023 is, but you're also still got an eye on what 2024 is to bring. And so I have this beautiful card from Cheryl Richardson's deck, self-care deck, and it's the goals, and it says on the back here, setting a goal, write it down, and release the outcome. Small steps make a big difference.
I highlighted you. How fun.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, for a second, I was like, did she pop up? One time that happened during
Yeah.
Rebel Heart, you were just like, God. I was like, okay, we're gonna come out of meditation. It was in the middle of meditation. I'm
Yeah,
like, we're
yeah.
coming out of meditation.
Having fun playing with this technology. Thank you so
I
much
love
for
it.
that. I appreciate that. And it's Lisa. Lisa's birthday's on 12/12. I don't know which Lisa
Yay.
though. That's the thing. I can't tell which Lisa. I got lots of Lisa sisters
You
and
got
I
too
love
many
them
Lisas
all.
in our circle too.
I know we got two Lisas in our council guides, and then I got
Exactly.
other Lisas too. So love you, Lisa. All of you Lisas. If you're still on, let us know which Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for always being game to play and pray in the field. And that's really what this convergence invitation has been, to call the others who, are going to be for the rest of our lives. We are committed to being to shining our lights and to working with what is coming up in our own fields, processing it so that we can be these clear channels for what is wanting to emerge, to be stepping further into our divine purpose as way showers and guides, to bridge from from that old paradigm to the new. And yeah, we're in this field of unity conscious here and now. We already it already exists, so it's really what we're doing is affirming through our own sacred journeys, through our own stories, through our own visions. We're just affirming what is and anchoring it in, and finding the others who feel inspired by this. And this is an alternative to um, the alternative to which is more of this spoon-fed quote reality of the mainstream media, of like anyone who would benefit from keeping us in the dark of our true power as sovereign beings. Like this is a viable and beautiful way we can start to co-weave what we do prefer. And so that is the intention and the wish and the aspirational desire from my heart for all of us who are part of these conversations. And Joanna, I'm so happy that you have been a part of this, and it's just such a joy to see you shine and be in space with you, share space with you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna say I want to give my blessing.
Of course, yeah.
So
Let's have her do her blessing.
you ready for it? So I say peace to you and 10,000 blessings to you today and every day. And until we meet again, namaste.
Namaste and aloha. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Appreciate it. I think Christiana was tuning in from YouTube, which is pretty cool. All right. Aloha, everybody. Oh, one more thing. Tomorrow, if you are part of Rebel Heart Convergence, we have a live connection call, our final one at 8 a.m. Hawaii, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully you guys can make it on and share space with us.
I'll be there.
Bye, Joanna.